Hey Internet, welcome to Scottie Teaches. My name is Scott McMahon. Today we're going to be using a feature of InDesign master pages to create something that we might not think is possible using something like master pages. So here we have a map. It's a map image that I downloaded from Envato. You can see here there's graphics. There's a pyramid shape and an odd shape here and an odder shape building here. So I think this is one of the early sort of antique versions of the Las Vegas Strip. It's a map for that. That's what I'm going with. But let's say that you've got a map and you need to put on it something like this. I'm just turning on a layer. Let's say you need to identify the burger places on this map. But for this document, you actually have another page for gas stations and you have another page for hammock stores. So how do you do that? How do you do the dots? How do we efficiently do the dots? Because the dots, for argument's sake, these ones are blue, greenish blue, and maybe the ones on this page I want to be orange, and maybe the ones on this page I want to be yellowish. So I've got a bunch of different dots. Maybe I've got 4, I've got 5 on this one, but maybe there's another map that has 24 or 25 or however many shoe stores there might be on the Las Vegas Strip. So how do I do this? How do I efficiently make these dots with numbers in them? Well, like anything on a computer and anything within the Adobe family, there's lots of ways in which I could do it. I could do them in Illustrator. Let's just switch over to Illustrator right now. I could make a series. I could make this. I've got one that's one, and I could do a number of ways. I could copy them over and duplicate them and then double click and then make that a 2, etc., etc. But I'd have to go for all of them, and then I'd have to know how far apart they are. Or I'd have to separate them out and save them out as individual files, and that would only be for the blue ones. That's one way I can do it. I'm going to undo all those. I could do it with layers. I could call this O1. I could duplicate that layer. Call this one O2. Get in there and change that. Then they're all lined up, and all I would have to do is turn the layers off or on in InDesign. It seems like a lot of work to do a very simple thing of putting dots on a map. I could utilize the efficiency of something else to make my numbers faster. Instead of having to type them out, I could use something like Excel. One of the great things about Excel, I've got a couple of different examples here, but one of the great things about Excel is that it does things automatically if you know how to do it. So here I have the numbers 1 and 2 sequentially. And with Excel, if you just grab the bottom corner of 2 cells, Excel will figure out the math if you click and drag. And not just for numbers. So if I have here Monday and Tuesday, select both of those and drag them down, it's going to give me a listing. So if you ever need a listing of days of the week or even dates. So here I've changed the format so it's a full date, Wednesday, January 1st and Thursday, January 2nd. Oh, do you remember those dates before the pandemic? Those are the days. So if I take both those dates, highlight them, click in the bottom corner and drag, it will sequentially put out all of the correct days. Now, it'll also figure out the pattern. So if I have January 1st and January 17th, select both of them, click in the bottom, it will expand out as far as it needs to go based on the frequency of the first 2 items. It'll even do it for fractions. So if I have a quarter, 1/8 of a 1/8 and 1/4, and just drag them out, it will do all of them accurately. So if you ever need any kind of listing, Excel is a great place to start. Get your information, bring it back into Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, After Effects, whatever. This is a good way to do it. I still would have to get all of this information into my dots to make them individual numbers. So I'm just going to go back to InDesign and I'm going to think about the idea that is there anything in InDesign that automatically counts numbers? And there sure is, and it's pages. As you add pages to the InDesign document, it knows what page it is. You can actually even put automatic page numbers. So within InDesign, there is a way to automatically create numbers in sequence. On top of that, InDesign also gives us the ability to import InDesign files into itself. Seems like we're on on the way to mad cow, but we can import. We don't have to make them PDFs. We don't have to save it out as a PNG or a JPEG. InDesign will import other InDesign files. It is fantastic. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to use master pages to help create a document that is going to give us these series of dots. So I'm going to turn this page off. We're going to start fresh. I have my map pages. So I'm going to go and I'm going to open up a brand new document. So did some experimenting. InDesign won't let you make a document smaller than just a little above 6 picas, which is about an inch or 2.54 centimeters. But I work in picas, points and picas. So I'm going to make mine 8 picas. It doesn't really matter because we can scale it up or down once we import it. The key is just to make it as small as possible so it doesn't necessarily take up a lot of room. I'm going to make a small margin. I'm just going to have 3 points as my margin. I don't care about a gutter. I don't care about one column is fine for me. And we're going to create. So I have a document, looks pretty big, but it's actually pretty tiny. It's 8 picas by 8 picas. Right now it's one page of my document, as we can see here in my pages, and I have one master page. So the parts that I need to create those dots, I need the dot itself, and it doesn't always have to be a dot. Let's say that I wanted to change it and I wanted just a box with rounded corners. Well, I need that, and I need the numbers themselves. And as I said, the numbers are going to be automatic page numbers created by InDesign on the pages. But to get it to do it automatically, we need to work on the master page. So I'm just going to take and double click on my A master. And how you know that you're on a master page versus a regular page, one, this is highlighted up here in the master pages area. And also if we went down here to the bottom left, we can actually see that this document has 2 sort of pages. We have page 1, which exists because we have page 1, and this we're on master page A, and you can have many master pages. We just happen to only have one in this document right now. So I need 2 parts, and it's a lot easier, and it'll explain itself in a bit why I do this. But there are layers in InDesign. Not a lot of people use them. I mean, they haven't been there the whole time, but they have been there for a while. And I'm going to make a second layer. The first layer I'm going to call color. And I'm spelling it the way that I do up here in Canada and England. And sorry about the States, but it's color. And up here I'm going to write number on the layer above it. And just like Photoshop, it's an Illustrator, you're looking from the top down. So the number layer is on top of color. So the first thing I want to start with is on the color layer. And let's say that I do want to go for a rounded box. So I'm just going to draw a box right now, margin to margin edge. It has no fill and no stroke. And I'm just going to add, let's add an orangish color to the background. And I'm going to change the rounded corner. That was my stroke. Down over here, I'm going to turn the rounded corner on. Keep it at 1 pica. That is just fine. That's all I need. That's all I need to do for that layer. I can now click on the number layer, and I'm going to take my text tool, and I'm just going to click drag edge to edge, and I'm going to type in 333, and I'll explain in a sec why I do that. Right now I'm just going to center the type. I'm going to pick a typeface. So for this one, I'm going to go with a typeface called Public. It's one of my new favorites. Nice and bold, nice solid sans serif. And I'm going to increase my font to where it just sort of is comfortable. So I'm going to go with like 36 points. The leading doesn't really matter. I'm just going to make it 36. And then what I want to do is I'm going to put a guide halfway. And I'm just going to optically sort of line up my numbers so that they look good. And why I do 333 or 666 or 999 is I want, depending again on the design and how many pages or how many numbers that you need, I don't want an automatic page number to run out of space. So if I know that I need 100 or more of these dots, then I'm going to take into account the largest sort of configuration. If the largest I'll ever need is 26 dots, then I can maybe go with a bigger typeface. So I'll then just type 33, and I can make it, instead of 36 points, maybe I make it 48 points. And then again, I'm going to optically center it on there. That looks just fine. I'm not going to keep the 33. The 33 was there just for my frame of reference. We are still on the master page. I can see that it's highlighted. I'm going to highlight my 33. I'm going to right click or control click, and I'm going to go down into this section here where I can add special characters, and I'm going to insert a special character. I'm going to go down to markers, and I'm going to insert the current page number. And it's very important that we do it. There is a shortcut for it, Option Shift Command N. Just as you don't have to use it enough that I always seem to go here. It's every once in a while I remember the shortcut. So right now it's showing me A, because we are on a master page. And if we look in our document pages area palette, we see that page 1. So if I double click on there, we are on page 1. And what's nice about it being a master page is that I can't affect either one of these items, the orange box or the text. But I am done. I now have as many pages as I want. I currently only have one page, but if I added a page, if I just drag down a master page into this area, I've now added page 1 and page 2. If I wanted to add more at a time and I don't want to drag, I can just go up to Layout, go to Pages. I can add a page that'll only do one, or I can insert pages, which will allow me to do a bunch. So if I needed 25 in total, I want to add 23 more pages. We say OK. And now if I scroll through them, look, I have 25 pages that go all the way up to 25. So 1 to 25. And now I'm just going to save this into my folder that I've already got going here, and I'm going to name it as my maps, numbers, round it, and the color orange. Orange. So I know what this contains. So it is map, number, rounded, orange, and I'm going to save it, and I am done with the file for now. So I'm going to go back to my maps. I have a new layer called New Locations. Again, we want to sort of replicate this look. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it up to this layer. These are the 5 burger places I need to pinpoint. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to figure out my size. So I'm going to import, and the shortcut for that is Command D to place, and I'm going to place map number rounded orange, which is a file we just made. I don't need to show the options, but I am. And right now, I just want to import just one page for now. And you'll see in a sec why I'm doing that. So if I just click, it's going to bring it in at size. So that was the actual size of the document relative to this 8.5 by 11 document. I don't need it to be this big, so I'm going to scale it down. So I'm just going to scale it down to maybe 30%. So here is my number, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. I'm just going to click and drag and press Option. I need 5 of them. I created 10. So now I can just double click, and I'm double clicking so that I'm highlighting the content. If I were to press W and go back to my outlines, we'll see that the boxes are still here. I can go back to Command D, which is my place. I'm going to go grab that. I do want to show my options for sure in this situation because I want a range. I want 1 through 5. That's all I want to show up. To the bounding box or the trim, it doesn't matter. Say OK. And now I'm just going to click into each one. They come in at the size they originally were. I select all of them, and then I can press Option Command and E, and that will proportionately put them into the box that they are. They are the right size. Now I can say that, oh, In-N-Out Burger is here. Fat Burger is over here by the Luxor. Shake Shack is over here. Carl's Jr. and Sonic is way over here in Henderson, I think. It doesn't really matter. So these are orange. These numbers were blue, so let's change those to the orange. So right now we did something that was pretty efficient in getting us our numbers pretty quickly, pretty accurately. But now I want to take this and I want to show really the strength of this. Because at this point I could go back, because I can say, well, I'm losing the numbers a bit. So I can actually go back to my document. I can go back to my master page. I can highlight my text on my master page, and I can change the text color to white. And that will automatically change the text color on all of the pages. I'll save the file. I will go back. I will show my links. I see the warning, the triangle, my warning. If I double click on it, it updates them. Ta-da! That's how easily I can update them. And if I find that that orange is a little too, it matches in, or maybe I need different ones. So let's go to the second page. The second page, it's going to be gas stations. So I'm going to move a copy of that text up to the layer we're working with. So I need 5, but I'm going to stick with the blue on this one. So no problem. All I need to do is go back to my original. So I now have this one, and that's why I saved it with the word orange in it. I'm going to resave this one, and I'm going to call this one the same, except this one is going to be blue. I'm going to go back to my master page. I'm going to select my object on that layer called color, and I'm going to click a blue color from my library. I'm going to save it. I'm going to come back into here, and I'm going to take, I can take all of these, because it doesn't matter, we're going to replace them, and I'm going to paste them in place. Command D will get me to place. I'm going to place my blue. Again, I want to have the show options. I want to set the range of 1 to 5. And that is not working the way I thought it was going to work. So I'm going to have to do the same thing. I'm just going to have to double click on each of them. Press my W so it shows me where those boxes are empty. And again, I double click so that I was clicking the box. The second click gets me to the content, and I'm only deleting the content, which was the orange shapes with the numbers. So now I can do this again. My blue, open, my range, 1 through 5. Two, 3, 4, 5. And that's how simple I did 5. And let's say that we want to do one more. We've got, on this layer, we had hammocks. And this is where I have to apologize to the Simpsons for stealing their thunder. These are all their jokes on all the different hammock store names. So the same thing, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to grab 4 of them. And it doesn't matter which 4. And I'm going to paste them in place. I can move them around because clearly you wouldn't have burger places and hammock places near each other. So, same thing. I'm going to click and double click on each one of these to delete the content. I'm going to go back to my blue one, and now I'm going to make it a yellowish one. So we'll save it as yellow. I'm going to go on my master page. I'm going to select a yellowish color. Now this one I might want to come back to black as my text. So again, I just do that. And you'll notice that I'm only affecting stuff on the master page. All the other pages are automatically updated because it is master page based. I'm going to go back to my main map. And I'm going to Command D, which is to place again. And this one I'm just going to grab the yellow, set my range from 1 to 4, and then we're going to say OK. And it doesn't matter the order in which I click them in. They're going to go in, or which boxes I click on, and we are back to having that. So if you need to have a series of numbers or indicators that are sequentially numbered, whether it's letters, alphabets, Roman numerals, etc., using InDesign to create your master pages and then bringing those master pages into another InDesign document is one of the most efficient and proficient ways that you can do this. I appreciate you sticking around. Hopefully you learned something. And if you have any comments, leave them down. If you have any questions or other things that you'd want to learn from InDesign or Illustrator or Photoshop or After Effects, hit me up in the comments section. And if you want, click the subscribe or the like. Would appreciate it. Thanks very much. This was Master Pages making numbered dots. Thanks.